Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Amon Green, Green Bay Packers all-time leading rusher, and you're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Packer content. Go Pack, go!
What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Hopefully, everybody's having an awesome day. A lot of college football going on with the conference championships. Texas Tech just took care of business. We got the SEC championship coming up. Going to be a lot of fun. But we wanted to dive in here. One last look at the Packers-Bears preview, and we're going to switch things up a little bit. Obviously, the game's going to kick off at 3:25 tomorrow at Lambeau Field. We're going to do a pregame show roughly an hour and a half before kickoff, so you guys make sure you're subbed to the channel and hit that bell icon so you're notified when we go live for that. We'll also be doing a postgame show. What I wanted to do today here, one last look, and I've never done this before. I'm actually going to use the PFF grades, and we're going to sort it only by Packers and Bears players. So those are the only two teams we're going to sort it by overall grade, offensive and defensive grade, and kind of come away looking at how both of these rosters match up in terms of PFF grades and kind of which team has the edge in that regard. So we're going to be comparing apples to apples, right? Across the board, we're going to cover the entire offense, quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, offensive line, and then we're going to dive into the defensive side, which we're going to break down as edge defenders, defensive linemen, which are interior defensive tackles, stack backers or linebackers, and then we're going to do cornerbacks and safeties as well. It's going to be a lot of fun. So we're going to dive right in. Before we do, if you guys would do that YouTube stuff for me, hit like, hit subscribe. If this is your first time tuning into PTA, welcome. Thank you for making us a part of your afternoon. We're not experts. We're not insiders. We're not media members. We're fans just like you talking Packers on a daily basis. So if you're looking for that type of content, make sure you hit subscribe and click that bell icon so you're notified when we go live like this in the future, as well as our pregame shows, postgame shows tomorrow. So without further ado, and we got everybody in the chat filing in. Chester Marco in the house. He says, belt ass on the Bears. I like, you know what? I'm going to hit you with one of them right here, man. As a matter of fact, I think we've got that one queued up.
Belt ass. BTA. You know what I'm saying?
Good chance we could see Nate Hobbs for the very first time playing slot corner for the Green Bay Packers. You guys know I'm excited about that. That's going to be really, really fun to see him get out there. We got Caldwell Corner in the house. Go Pack Go. What's up, buddy? Kyle Andretti. Go Pack Go. We got Jen Wright. 11 minutes until roster moves have to be in. Really? Here we go. You guys get the updates. Let me know. We may be doing another video during the SEC championship, giving you guys the latest on that as well. Chester Marco says, crossing fingers for Jayden Reed playing. Amen to that. So let's waste no more time. Let's get into it. Appreciate you guys hopping in here on such short notice. Let's look at these PFF grades on offense. All right, let's start with the quarterback position. We're going to go rapid fire and get you guys out of here as quick as possible, okay? So starting off, quarterback, leading the way, surprise, surprise, Jordan Love. And again, this is all of the Packer quarterbacks and the Bears quarterbacks who have taken any snaps this year, okay? So this should include minimum snaps as well. Jordan Love leading the way, 87.3 PFF grade. Awesome year for Jordan Love. His passing grade is even higher at an 89.0. Jordan Love just absolutely lighting it up this year. Some people are starting to creep him back into the MVP conversation after that 4-touchdown performance on Thanksgiving Day. It's amazing how when the national scene gets to watch him play as opposed to just us Packer fans, when everybody's kind of forced to watch that one game, they go, damn, this Jordan Love guy's kind of good, right? Funny how that works. We'll see what he does tomorrow. If the Packers can pull off a win against the Bears, take over the first place in the NFC North, potentially the number 1 seed, depending on what goes on around the rest of the league. I think if he comes out of there with a 2 or 3 touchdown performance, maybe 250 yards passing, no interceptions, they're probably, you're going to hear that ramp up even more. Right now, I think he's got 3rd or 4th best odds in terms of MVP race. Second, Caleb Williams with an 82.2. Oh, wait, that's not Caleb Williams. Huh. That's strange. The second highest graded quarterback in the NFC, I'm not just the NFC North, but between the Packers and the Bears this year is actually Malik Willis. Huh. Who would have thought? 82.2 offensive grade with a 71.7 passing grade. He actually has the 2nd best passing grade, too. That's really, really interesting, seeing that everybody is just over the moon about Caleb Williams. And here we got Caleb Williams in the number 3 spot, 72.7 with a 66.8 passing grade. You're going, How's his passing grade 66.8? And he's a quarterback that's grading out 72.7 in offensive grade. It's because his running grade's 84.6. An elite scrambling quarterback. Playing the quarterback position, actually throwing the football, not so much. Still, 72.7 is solid. 66.8 isn't horrible. But you would think, I mean, there's actual conversations being taken place that Caleb Williams is a better quarterback than Jordan Love. It's absolutely mind-boggling. So again, Caleb Williams is the third highest rated quarterback amongst this group. And then behind him, you got Tyson Bagent with a 60.3 and a 62.3 passing grade. So again, that is how the Packers-Bears quarterback rooms compare. All right. Let's move along now to running backs. All right. Next on the list. Actually, no. Let's not move along yet. Let's stick with quarterback for just a minute because this kind of caught me off guard here a little bit earlier. It didn't really catch me off guard, but I thought it was kind of comical that someone actually threw a tweet out there that sparked me to go to completion percentage here. Okay. So this is adjusted completion percentage across the entire league. You know, I talked about Caleb was like in the 44 mark or something in adjusted completion percentage. That was with removing the minimal snaps, right? This is every quarterback across the league who has thrown at least one pass. Okay, at least one pass. In adjusted completion percentage, Caleb Williams actually ranks 52nd with a 69.6. And keep in mind, Jordan Love significantly higher, I think with a 78 or a 76 is his adjusted completion percentage. And again, keep in mind too, adjusted completion percentage, you remove the spike passes, you remove the throwaways. I think you remove the drop passes as well, what's deemed a drop. So this is like, get rid of all the noise. How accurate has your quarterback been? How efficient has he been in terms of getting the ball where it needs to be in a catchable situation? And let's adjust that completion percentage. Let's grade it on the curve. Let's say, forget the result of the play. How good has the quarterback been? He is significantly lower than what the stats are saying he is. So any of those Chicago Bears fans that continue to tote that company line, well, it's the receivers dropping passes. It's this, it's that. No, it's Caleb's accuracy. And I got to be honest with you. If Caleb eventually gets the accuracy problem fixed, he's going to be a damn good quarterback. Right now, he is not a damn good quarterback. He's 52nd in the league in completion percentage after being adjusted. Just absolutely wild statistic there. Now, what kind of provoked me to jump into this was there was another tweet that popped up, all right? And this caught my attention as, I better pause that. You never know what might happen there. John Fraskella, if I'm saying that right, I apologize if I butchered the name, said Justin Fields has a higher passer rating than Caleb Williams this NFL season. Are you noticing how there are other people, and this guy has like 80,000 followers. Are you noticing that other people are starting to kind of catch on? Hold up a minute. I thought Caleb was having a good game, a good season. Remember Pat McAfee the other day, the clip we played for you guys, the audio, where he was like, yeah, I mean, every time I see Caleb Williams, he's throwing touchdown passes. It's a highlight reel, right? Yeah. Justin Fields has a higher passer rating than Caleb Williams. And then I had to pile on a little bit and point out, of course, that just so everyone knows, Justin Fields is also 31 spots higher than Caleb Williams in adjusted completion percentage. I repeat, 31 spots higher on the NFL rankings in terms of adjusted completion percentage. Justin Fields is 21st in the league at 76.5. And that is on 128 attempts. So it's not like 13 attempts, 20 attempts, 70 attempts, 128 attempts. And again, Caleb Williams is 52nd at 69.6. All these things matter, right? All the context matters. We don't just cover PFF grades. We don't just cover advanced metrics and analytics like adjusted completion percentage. We don't just watch the tape. We don't just use the GPS tracking data from NFL Pro and the accuracy and everything there as well. We look at the entire picture. And the entire picture says that Caleb Williams is a less efficient, worse quarterback than Justin Fields, who's with the New York Jets. So any of those Bears fans that like to pretend that, no, Justin Fields has got it better than Caleb Williams. Sorry, bub. You take that Kirby down the street, we ain't buying it. All right, let's move along to running back before we fall too far behind, man. Running back, Packers and Bears running back rankings by PFF grades. At the top of the list between these two teams, you've got our very own Josh Jacobs at 82.1 is his offensive PFF grade. Number 2, DeAndre Swift, 74.7. Number 3, Kyle Monangai at 70.2. Number 4, Chris Brooks at a 69.8. Number 5, Roshan Johnson at a 68.9. Number 6, you've got Brittain Brown, if I'm saying that right, 66.3. Then Emmanuel Wilson at 7 at 63.5. And then Travis Homer at number 8 with a 52.8. So the moral of the story is exactly what we talked about all week. They have a great 1-2 punch in DeAndre Swift and Kyle Monangai. Josh Jacobs still a significantly better running back according to PFF, roughly 8 points higher, right? And then, of course, Chris Brooks is, I think, very, very underrated in terms of how important he is to this offense. When you look at his grades across the board, offensive grade 69.8, running grade 70.7, fumble grade 75.8, run blocking grade 87.1. When you got him in there to do some extra run blocking, I didn't see his pass blocking grade, but it's always really solid as well. We got the best quarterback, actually the top 2 quarterbacks according to PFF grade, with Caleb Williams being number 3. We've got the top running back. They've got the second and third best running back. We have the 4th best running back in terms of PFF grades. Now, you guys know I believe Emmanuel Wilson is way better than that 63.5. So I'm sure there's Bear fans that think DeAndre Swift and Kyle Monangai is better than their 74.7 and 70.2 PFF grades, right? So there are the running backs in this matchup. Now let's move along to wide receivers. Same exact format here, okay? We're going to go wide receiver rankings between the Packers and the Bears in terms of PFF grades. At the top of the list, Jayden Reed with an 89.9. It goes back to what Jim was saying. Let's hope he is healthy for this game. Love to see him get out there and get some meaningful reps. Jayden Reed leading the way with an 89.9. Second, Christian Watson at an 84.6. Third, Luther Burden at a 73.2. So you can't sleep on him. He's having a pretty darn good season so far. Number 4, Dontavion Wicks with a 72.7. Number 5, Rome Odunze at a 70.8. Boy, don't let Bears fans know that Dontavion Wicks, what was he, guys? Remind me in the chat. Was he a 4th-round pick, I believe? 4th or a 5th-round pick? Is grading out higher than their 1st-round pick. So anytime they try to pile on Matthew Golden, who's number 7 on this list at a 67.0, just below Romeo Doubs at a 67.1. Anytime they try to point out that Matthew Golden, oh, he's bad, just let them know that Dontavion Wicks is grading out better. Let them know that Rome Odunze would be the 4th best receiver on our roster. Probably shut up about that, right? DJ Moore, they're Mr. All Everything, right? 65.0 PFF grade. He's 8th on this list behind Matthew Golden. All right. Malik Heath is number 9, Savion Williams 10, Bo Melton 11. And then they've got Zacchaeus. Some people were talking like Zacchaeus is having a great year. He's going to blow up. That's the guy we need to watch for now that Rome Odunze is out. He's grading out with a 59.5. And then Devin Duvernay, I think I'm saying that right, at a 52.6. That is how the wide receiver rankings compare across the Packers and the Bears roster. All right, let's move it along now to the tight end position. This one's going to hurt because Tucker's on this list, and you know how valuable he was to this team. So Packers and Bears tight end rankings by PFF grades. At the top of the list, Tucker Kraft with a 78.1. Doesn't matter what metric you use, Tucker Kraft is grading out. He's only played in 8 games this year because of the injury, right? He's out for the year. Colston Loveland has played in 11 games. Tucker Kraft has still got more yards than him. He's still got twice as many touchdowns as Colston Loveland. But somehow Bears fans think that Colston Loveland is a better tight end than Tucker Kraft. But you got 3 games on our guy, and he's still leading in receptions, yards, and touchdowns, as well as yards per reception, as well as receiving percentage, as well as Colston Loveland has 4 more targets than Tucker Kraft, who's been injured now for, 3 games, however long it is. He's got 4 more targets than Tucker Kraft and less yards, touchdowns, and receptions. So, and by the way, PFF has him graded higher as well. Tucker Kraft higher than Colston Loveland. So make sure Bears fans know that. Number 2 on the list, of course, is Colston Loveland at a 75.6. I'm going to say it again. I think he's going to be a good tight end. He may be a great tight end, but anyone who thinks that Colston Loveland is better than Tucker Kraft, you're smoking something. Cole Kmet in the number 3 spot with a 65.1. Then Josh Whyle, he's dropped recently at a 58.0. Number 5, John Fitzpatrick at a 53.7. Luke Musgrave at a 53.7. And then Smythe for Chicago is if I'm saying that right, it might just be Smythe, is a 49.4. So again, when you look at it that way, with Tucker Kraft being out, you definitely give the tight end room edge to the Chicago Bears with Colston Loveland and Cole Kmet. We're kind of patching things together with Josh Wiley and John Fitzpatrick along with Luke Musgrave. So definitely something. They have the advantage there. Colston Loveland needs to be you need to put emphasis on stopping him, especially with Rome Odunze out. It's going to be the DJ Moore, Colston Loveland kind of attack when they do go in the air. Again, keying on the run first and foremost, though. So there is your tight end comparison / matchup between the Packers and the Bears. Now, let's move on to offensive line. Packers and Bears offensive line rankings by PFF grades. Here we go. Oh, do we have breaking news in here, guys? We have breaking news. We're going to hit it at the end of the show, okay? Because I'm going to go climb through and try to find it. Look, I'm going to go ahead and break the news to you guys and gals. Kyle Andretti says Packers just activated Jayden Reed and released Malik Heath. We kind of called that one, didn't we? It's kind of saying Malik Heath might be the odd man out there with the problems they had a couple of weeks ago. That makes sense, right? So Jayden Reed is back, baby. Oh, I can't wait to see Bird back on the field. That is going to be absolutely awesome. So we'll break that news at the end of the show and cut it up in a separate video for everyone for sure. So offensive line comparisons here, okay? Packers, Bears, Zach Tom, 82.5 leading the way. Drew Dahlman is second at an 82.1. Then Darnell Wright at a 78.5. Our very own Darian Kennard in the number 4 spot at a 74.5. There, Jonah Jackson with a 74. There, Joe Tooney with the 74. Our Rasheed Walker with a 66.6. There, Luke Newman with a 66.5. Then there, Ozzie Trapillo with a 66.2. Elton Jenkins, obviously out for the year, grading out of 62. Aaron Banks, 58.3. Sean Ryan, 57.2. Theo Benedette, their tackle, 56.3. Braxton Jones, Chicago's tackle, 55.5. Jordan Morgan, our guard, which is now not starting, 54.3. And Anthony Belton, who seems to have taken over that starting right guard spot from Jordan Morgan at least the last couple of weeks, is a 41.1. So when you look at the offensive line, let's stick with the top 10 here, okay? We've got three healthy guys in the top 10. They've got, I believe, 6, if I'm looking at this correctly. They definitely have the edge when it comes to offensive line. There's no two ways about that. The Bears have the better offensive line this year. They spent a lot of resources and time in the offseason revamping that offensive line. It's one of the things that I credited them with, like, okay, they're finally building in the trenches. They're finally learning. All right, we need to put an offensive line out there if we want these receivers to make plays. And to even find out if this quarterback in Caleb Williams is the real guy, we got to have a good offensive line out there. So you can't argue anymore that Caleb Williams' passing is down. He's struggling throwing the football and being accurate because his offensive line is bad. He's got one of the better offensive lines in football, and they can run the rock too. So there is your offensive line comparison. Matter of fact, that's your entire offensive breakdown. Packers roster, Bears roster, who has the edge. It's going to be a fun game tomorrow, guys, because, again, both of these teams are kind of peaking at the same time, right? This is just a head-on collision that's happening in that game tomorrow. We get to find out a lot about both of these teams. We get to say, okay, the Packers are ready for their Super Bowl run, or maybe the Bears are legit and the Packers are going to have to take a step back and try to come back and win that game 2 weeks from now, right? So it's going to be a lot of fun. If you guys are watching this video back later, let me know in the comments right now, how do you feel about our offense, how it stacks up against the Bears offense? Who do you think has the edge there? Is there a player or two that maybe we missed somehow? Do you agree with the PFF grades? We want to hear from you in the comments. Make sure you let us know. Also, make sure you hit like, subscribe, and click that bell icon so you are notified whenever we go live here in the near future. All right, let's shift gears now, guys, and let's talk defense. All right, let's start on the defensive line and more specifically at the edge position. At the edge position, boy, oh boy, does this look good. Micah Parsons at the top of the list with a 91.9 PFF grade. Just an unbelievable season that Micah's putting together. Pass rush grade of 93.2. Run defense grade of 66.3. Tackle grade of 78.2. Micah Parsons is just on fire. I cannot wait to see what he can do against this Bears offensive line tomorrow. Are they going to hold up and continue to play good football? Is Micah going to wreck shop like he was able to do against the Detroit Lions, where he had 2.5 sacks? Number 2 on this list, Lucas Van Ness with a 73.4. Number 3 on this list, Montez Sweat with a 70.3. So Lucas Van Ness is actually grading out better. He's hurt right now, but he's played 6 games this year, a total of 168 snaps. He's actually grading out better than their best edge rusher in Montez Sweat. 4th on the list is Joe Tryon Shoyinka, if I'm saying that right. Shoyinka, maybe 69.4, only 90 snaps, but still grading out pretty solid, a 69.4. 5th on the list is our Rashawn Gary with 501 snaps, a 68.2. His run defense grade is the best of all of these edge defenders that are listed. All 14 edge defenders between the Packers and the Bears roster that's listed with PFF grades. Rashawn Gary has the highest run defense grade of 73.8. His pass rush grade, a 60.9 as it sits right now. Number 6 on the list, Kingsley Enagbare with a 64.3. 7 on the list is Austin Booker with a 58.1. 8th is Dominique Robinson from the Bears with a 54.8. Number 9 is Dayo Odeyingbo, if I'm saying it right. 54.1 for him on 369 snaps. Barron Sorrell and Brenton Cox Jr. are both tied in the number 10 spot, although Brenton Cox Jr. very minimal snaps, only 8 snaps. But Barron Sorrell and Brenton Cox Jr. are 53.5. And then you've got Tano Kapasiganon, 51.1. That's probably the toughest name we've ever tried to pronunciate. And then Shamar Turner, the rookie, right? We talked about him a lot this offseason. 34.4 for Shamar Turner. And then Daniel Hardy, edge defender, 28.8. So I think it's safe to say the Packers have the edge there. Micah Parsons, Lucas Van Ness is not playing. Micah Parsons is just absolutely dominant. Then they've got Montez Sweat, and we got Rashawn Gary and Kingsley Enagbare, who's grading out better than Booker and Odeyingbo. We'll just call it that. So yeah, I feel like the Packers edge room has a pretty significant advantage there over the Bears edge room. Let's move along now to interior defensive line, defensive tackle spot here. And that is Packers and Bears defensive line rankings by PFF grades. Leading the way, listen to this. Of all the defensive tackles between the Packers and the Bears roster, Kobe Wooden has the highest PFF grade at a 60.5 with a pass rush grade of 62.1. Second is Gervin Dexter Sr. with a 60.2 for the Bears. Then they've got Chris Williams with a 57.3. Then Carl Brooks, 56.7. Devontae Wyatt, 52.9. Of course, he's out for the year. Grady Jarrett, 52.8. Warren Brinson, 50.8. Although keep in mind, Warren Brinson on this list has the 3rd best pass rush grade, and he's going to be our 3-tech most likely with a 69.1. Nazir Stackhouse, 46.0. Andrew Billings, 39.6. And then Jonathan Ford. Some people were saying, hey, can we get Jonathan Ford back? We're banged up at defensive tackle. 37.0 is Jonathan Ford's PFF grade as it sits right now. So when you look at this, Kobe Wooden is actually the best defensive tackle between these two teams, although you would have to kind of give them I would almost call it a push here when it comes to defensive tackle play, because they've got 2 in the top 3. We've got 1, and then the number 4 spot belongs to us. Then 5 is Wyatt, who's hurt. I think it's pretty even here in terms of defensive tackles, who has the best defensive tackles on the roster. Let's move along now to stack backer. Let's talk traditional linebacker position. Packers Bears linebacker rankings by PFF grades. The top of the list, did not have this on my bingo card this year, ladies and gentlemen. Isaiah McDuffie, 80.0, played in 12 games, 343 snaps. My man is grading out at 80.0 with an 81.1 tackle grade, 73.6 coverage grade. Isaiah McDuffie has been playing freaking lights out here lately. Second on the list, TJ Edwards with a 75.1. Third on the list, DeMarco Jackson with a 75.0. Fourth, our Edgerrin Cooper at a 74.8. Fifth, our Tyron Hopper at a 73.9. In the 6th spot, there, Tremaine Edmonds with a 72.1. Then our Christian Welch, only 1 snap, we'll throw it out, right? Then you got a guy, I'm not going to try to pronounce his name. I'll spell it for you, though. Ogbongbemiga with a 59.2, only 70 snaps. Quay Walker with a 55.3, so PFF continues to grade him significantly lower. Ruben Hippolyte with a 46.7, then Noah Sewell with a 41.3. So you kind of look at this the same way you did the defensive tackles, right? Isaiah McDuffie, the best stack backer. TJ Edwards, DeMarco Jackson are 2 and 3. However, Edgerrin Cooper is within 0.2 of a point there of being in that mark. So this is kind of a push at stack backer. But when you include the third backer, Tyron Hopper, a little bit better than Tremaine Edmonds. So it's kind of I would say it's close enough for a push in terms of PFF grades. Again, when you look at their defensive rankings, when you watch the tape, I think the Packers have a significantly better stack backer crew than the Chicago Bears do. All right, moving along now. Let's look at cornerbacks. All right, cornerbacks across these two teams. And according to PFF, Jalen Jones leads the way, only 36 snaps. He just came back, right, from injury. Or not, yeah, actually, maybe he's just played. I get him and Jalen Johnson mixed up. Jalen Johnson just came back from injury. But Jalen Jones has only played 36 snaps, and he may still be banged up, as a matter of fact. But a 74.1 for him. Again, minimal snaps. You got to take that into consideration. Number 2 on this list at cornerback, guys, and again, it's slot corner, but still technically a cornerback position, with 553 or 543 snaps, Javon Bullard, 67.9. Let's freaking go. Now, is Bullard going to play? That's going to be the big question, right? I think he's supposed to be a game time decision, so we'll find out about that before kickoff tomorrow, unless he's already inactive. If you guys know that, throw it in the chat for everybody. I haven't had a chance to really look at the chat. But we'll come back in here, like I said, here in a second, and comb through the Twitter news and get you all the breaking news on Jayden Reed returning and being active for tomorrow. But Javon Bullard, yeah, man, as Joe Pack Joe says, get him, Bullard having a hell of a year. I can't wait till he's completely healthy again. Number 3 on the list, Carrington Valentine with a 67.0. 4 on the list, Keyshawn Nixon with a 65.8. 5th on the list, only 3 snaps, but Josh Blackwell with a 64.7. Kamal Hadden, 62.3, only 31 snaps. Nashawn Wright with a 62.0. Tyreek Stevenson, who is out in this game, with a 60.9. Kyler Gordon, 59.2. Jalen Johnson, only 53 snaps this year, but a 58.1. So we'll see if he's going to be his old self or he's going to continue to play down to that 58.1 level. Nate Hobbs, 56.8. That has been on the outside. If he fills in for Bull tomorrow and he actually plays slot corner and they keep him at slot and keep Valentine on the field, I'm interested to see what his grade looks like and how effective he looks there in the slot tomorrow. Then Nick McLeod with a 46.4. So when you look at this list, if you throw Jalen Jones out there at the top of the list with only 36 snaps, right? So we have to throw Kamal Hadden out. We have the number 1, 2, and 3 highest graded, according to PFF, cornerbacks that are playing in this game. All right. Then they've got Josh Blackwell. That's just 3 snaps. Throw it out. Their top graded corner is Nashawn Wright with a 62.0. Then Tyreek Stevenson with a 60.9, who's not playing. Kyler Gordon. So their cornerback room, they better hope Jalen Johnson gets to old form really, really quick, because right now they are looking like cheeks in that cornerback room, which explains why they're a bottom 5 defense across the league as it sits right now. They're taking the ball away, don't get me wrong, but definitely something to – I wonder how many interceptions – if anybody in the chat has a second, let everybody in the chat know how many interceptions that Tyreek Stevenson has on the year, seeing that he's out in this game. I'm interested to see. He may be one of those guys that's picking a lot of those passes off. So that would be an interesting stat to see. So, all right, moving along to the last thing we're going to break down, which are the safeties in this matchup. And their safety, Kevin Byard, is playing really, really good football. And I know he has several interceptions this year. I'm almost positive he has multiple interceptions, but Kevin Byard, 79.9. He is playing great football. That's the guy in the secondary that you want to know where he's at and make sure that you're kind of, I don't want to say you avoid him, but just know where he's at and try to take advantage of some of the weaker spots in the defense in the secondary, as opposed to throwing into the teeth where Byard's playing really, really good football this year. Second on this list is Xavier McKinney with a 75.2. Number 3 on the list is Evan Williams with a 72.7. He leads the Packers with interceptions this year. Number 4, Elijah Hicks, only 37 snaps, but a 72.1. Then Jaquan Brisker with a 61.6. Katano Ladapo, Zane Anderson, both around the 60 mark, but only 2 snaps. We'll throw those out. C.J. Gardner-Johnson, 489 snaps, a 53.5. And then Simone Biles, Jonathan Owens, 43 snaps, 46.9 is his PFF grade. So when you look at the safety room, Byard is playing, according to PFF, better than McKinney and Evan Williams. However, they're right there on his heels in the same within 5 points as McKinney of Byard. I don't think there's anybody in the league that would, if you could pick between those two safeties, they would take Byard over McKinney. So that is what it is. And Evan Williams being the third best right there at a 72.7. Elijah Hicks with those minimal snaps still at the 72.1. The Packers definitely have the better safety group in terms of the 1-2 punch there. So again, I just wanted to kind of change things up there for you guys and gals and let you know exactly what was going on in terms of the PFF grades. We've never done that before. We just took, okay, the two teams this week, let's go position by position and look at the PFF grades. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Let me know in the comments if you're watching this video back later. Let me know about the defense. What did you think about those grades? How they all stacked up? How they ranked? Is there anything you disagreed with? Is there players that we may have missed? Is there maybe a player you think's graded too high? We want to hear from you in the comments as you're watching this video back later. Also, make sure you hit subscribe and click that bell icon so you are notified when we go live in the future. Ari Iron Miner in the chat says, beautiful work. Thank you. Thank you, Ari. That was a lot of information. I'm glad we got through it. I wanted it to go quick. I didn't want to bore you guys, but I just thought that'd be a cool little exercise to kind of go through real quick. I'm glad we had a chance to do it. Now, let's jump over to Twitter real quick and see if we can get some information on what all of the news that you guys and gals just broke for me. I've got a Packers news tab. If you'll bear with me here, and I'm going to earmark this so we can just cut it out in a separate video here in a little bit. Let's see here. What's thriving? There it is. Let's go with Bill Huber's tweet. I really like the way Bill Huber does everything. We could probably dive into his article too if y'all wanted to, but I know he gave me permission before. If we ever want to show his article on the show, we're welcome to do that. So this is Bill Huber's reporting of it. All right, as he tweeted out. I'm gonna go ahead and earmark this. We'll cut this up in a separate video for everybody and get it right out to the people. All right, we've got breaking news here. Jayden Reed, Green Bay Packers wide receiver. He has led the Packers in receiving yards the last 2 seasons. I think receiving touchdowns as well. I think he's been our best receiver since he came in the league. Bill Huber reports here on X, Jayden Reed is back. While he hasn't been a 1,000-yard receiver, he put up some absurd numbers last year. And maybe we can do that. We can just kind of dive into some of his career totals and his PFF grades. But again, Jayden Reed will be active against the Chicago Bears when they kick off tomorrow, the battle for the NFC North. Jayden Reed is one of my favorite players. And last year, he caught a lot of flack from portions of the fan base. I remember talking about this on the show, like, why have we convinced ourselves all of a sudden that Jayden Reed is a bad football player? I just couldn't understand it. I had no idea. I'm like, why are Packer fans pretending like Jayden Reed all of a sudden can't catch a pass? He's not the most efficient wide receiver on the roster. It just blew my mind that there were people that kind of believed that. Because when you look at the numbers, I'm going to drop this article down here real quick and go to NFL Pro. If you look at his career stats, and really if we just went to the Packers' entire receiving roster or whatever, we could line this up for you guys and gals. But when you look at his first 2 years in the league, right, if you guys can see it, it's probably a little bit tough for y'all to see. We'll see if we can zoom in a little bit more maybe. So his first 3 years of his career here, let's just stay with his first 2 because he's been banged up since week 2 of this year. Jayden Reed, okay, 16 games played. He ran 369 routes. He was targeted 94 times, caught 64 balls for 793 yards and 8 touchdowns. He was averaging 12.4 yards per reception. Last year, 2024, played in all 17 games, 366 routes, so 3 less routes than he ran his rookie year. He was targeted 75 times, significantly less targets, and caught 55 catches and had 857 receiving yards for 6 touchdowns. This is the part that blew me away last year. The people that were complaining about Jayden Reed last year, I'm going, y'all do realize he's statistically having a better year than he did his rookie year when everybody loved him, right? Because, again, his catch percentage went up. It went up from 68.1 to 73.3. His catch rate over expected went up from plus 1.8% to plus 2.9%. His receiving EPA increased from 26.2 to to 37.7. His yak total increased. If I zoom out just a touch here, I mean, everything across the board, Jayden Reed played better. He was a better receiver last year than he was his rookie year. I mean, you compare everything here, right? Average or air yards per target is the only thing that was down. But again, you probably started to use him a little more in the slot. His rookie year, it was 10 air yards per target. Last year, it was 8.2 air yards per target. This year, it jumped to 12.3 before he got hurt. And his average separation actually increased as well. 2023, it was 3.4 was his average separation, right? Target separation. And then in 2024, it increased to 4.0. So again, Jayden Reed got better in his second year with the Packers, statistically across the board. The only thing that went down was his touchdowns by 2. But again, I think touchdowns can kind of be a little bit misleading, in my opinion. You can have a guy who's got 10 touchdown catches, and they may have led the league in drops. You know, they may have not been anywhere near where they need to be in catch percentage or yards per catch, but because they took advantage of specific situations down inside the 5, inside the 10, it makes them look like, oh, they were absolutely awesome, right? So again, that's something else to just kind of take into consideration as well as you continue to look at this. I'm going to jump over to PFF now, and let's take a quick glance at what Jayden Reed is going to mean to this team in terms of PFF grades. We already kind of talked about it this year, what he's grading out at. And he was our highest grading receiver, albeit it was just 1.5 weeks, right, is essentially what it ended up being. And if we go to Jayden Reed's career here, however, I'm going to pop this up on the screen for you guys and gals. Let me know in the chat what y'all think about Jayden Reed. Are we excited about Jayden Reed returning to this roster tomorrow? What will his snap count look like tomorrow too as well? That's going to be really, really interesting to see how they monitor that. So here we go. Jayden Reed on the career, his rookie year, 73.3. You guys know the measuring stick that we use, whether a player is going to be a good football player or not when they enter the NFL, is do they hit the 60 mark in PFF? That's one of the things, right? We're looking for drop percentage. We're looking for, yards per reception. There's a lot of different things, but really, if you grade out 60 or higher as a rookie, it's a pretty good indicator you're going to be a good football player. Okay. 2023, 73.3 right out of the gate. Okay. What's he going to do with the sophomore slump? 2024, second year in the league, 71.7 PFF grade for Jayden Reed. This year, albeit 1.5 games, 89.9. He looked so comfortable. Even the play where he broke his collarbone was just like it was a hell of a play. It just seemed like he was playing so much more comfortable. Hopefully the collarbone doesn't mess with his head a little bit in terms of taking hits and things like that. But Jayden Reed, telling you, he was on pace to be a dominant force this year. I'm excited to get him back. So now it's going to change a lot of things up, right? When you look at Jayden Reed and what he means to this team, he's predominantly been the F receiver, the slot receiver, some people call it a moving Z. Anytime that guy who looks close to being in the Z position is moving with cheat motion and things, I'm just going to go ahead and stamp them with the F in Matt LaFleur's offense. That's typically how that works in terms of identifying those guys. But he can play F, he can play Z. I think he can play X, although they haven't asked him to play X much at all. It was mostly F and a Z. They would mix that in and out with Christian Watson. So now you've got Jayden Reed coming back. You have Matthew Golden, who's played a little F, right? You had, everybody across the board here really has played F up to this point. Even Romeo Doubs has played a little F, although he's predominantly your boundary X receiver. So you've got Christian Watson in the Z, field side, wide receiver, typically tight end side of the field, off the line of scrimmage, not much of a motion guy. You have the F, which is typically the slot guy. Sometimes he'll line up as the 1 and then motion to the 2 or the 3 or come all the way across the formation on a jet sweep. That's your flyer. That's your F position. And then, of course, the X we talked about with Rome. So Jayden Reed is built to be an F and a Z is what he's built to be, okay? So this year, how have you been approaching this, right? We've been seeing Matthew Golden play the F and the Z. Have we heard anything on Golden, guys? Let me know in the chat. There you go. That's exactly what Coach Lynn was just saying. I wonder if Golden is back also. That could be interesting. Very, very interesting. Now, if Jayden Reed seems like he's 100% coach and maybe Golden isn't quite there, I would give Golden another week. Let him rest up. Let Jayden go out there and play F. So you'd have Romeo in the X. You'd have Jayden Reed in the F, Christian Watson in the Z, and you got Dontavion Wicks, who's been playing F and Z. He's been playing some X too, but mostly F and Z is what we've seen. Really, F and X is what he's better suited for. X first, then F is how I see Dontavion Wicks. But as you seen last week, man, they were using him in the F and using a lot of cheat motion, a lot of exit motion, and getting him on some of those separation throws. So I think that's what that'll look like tomorrow. And I agree. J. Cole in the chat says, will Jayden be on a snap count? I think he would have to be, right? Like, surely they won't send him out there and have him play every single snap, right? I just have a hard time believing they're going to go that route. I think it's just going to be a heavy mix of all these guys. And obviously Malik Heath being cut, you kind of X him out of the equation. I think their plan there is hopefully he'll clear waivers, bring him back on the practice squad is what I imagine they would do there. So going to be really, really interesting to see how they utilize Jayden Reed. Nonetheless, man, this is great freaking news that Jayden Reed is back in the fold. Excited to see him back out there against the Bears tomorrow. How much will they use him? How effective will he be? There's going to be some rust to knock off, although Bill Huber, I think it was, tweeted out the other day that Jayden Reed looked really fast in practice. And again, you're going, okay, it was a collarbone, Clayton. Well, don't forget, he also had the Jones fracture in his foot, right? I was worried that may slow him down. It doesn't sound like he's lost any speed. Now we got to get him out there, obviously, and get him in with the real bullets flying for sure, man. Coach Lynn says, was Watson on a snap count when he came back? That's a great question, Coach. I want to say he was, Coach, but it wasn't like a 10 snap count. You know, it was one of those things where it was like, but heck, we could probably find out. Matter of fact, let me do this real quick. Let me drop this down. We'll wrap up with this too. Let me just see if I can go find Christian Watson, and then we'll look at his snap count when he returned this year. That is a great, great question. Give me just 1 second, gang. Christian Watson, bang. We'll get it up on the screen for you guys and gals. Grades. This is good podcasting right here. That's why I love talking ball with you guys, though. You get me thinking all the freaking time. All right, so let's drop this down. Let's put this up on the screen. Christian Watson. Let's see if we can get that snap count for you, Coach. So, is it going to show the entire snap count? Do we have run block snaps? It's not showing everything here, is it? Well, darn it. We got 4 targets, 4 catches his first game back, right? These are his pass snaps. So let me see if I can go over. So pass snaps, 25 passing plays, it looks like, Coach. And it is not showing the run snaps, unfortunately. Okay. But 25 pass snaps, I mean, that's I don't feel like that's a snap count to you. He's definitely on running plays too. So if I had to guess, Coach, he's probably with our run to pass ratio and there in Pittsburgh, I feel like we threw the ball a little bit more than we ran it probably. So yeah, I would say he was probably on about a 40 snaps, something like that. If you guys got the exact snaps, throw them in the chat. So yeah. There wasn't really anything with Christian, so maybe they'll throw Jayden out there and do the same thing. So I think it's realistic to say that Jayden Reed could see the same amount of snaps, right? Maybe 35 to 45 snaps, which may be significant enough. So let's see here in the chat. One last thing here. I hope I'm saying this right. Is it Dana? Dana, I think. Daniel, maybe. Danal. Anyway, I apologize. Danal, maybe. Maybe it's Danamas. What about Savion? Will he be playing? I haven't heard anything. Oh, that's right. No, wasn't he he's listed as out yesterday, right? Is anybody? Yep, there we go. Joe Pack Joe. Savion rolled out. Yes, that's right. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure he was listed on the injury report as out. So he'll be out there. I agree, Coach. It's a lot of snaps, right, for a guy coming back from an ACL. So I think you're going to see a significant amount of Jayden Reed. It's going to come down to Matthew Golden, right? Is Matthew Golden going to be active tomorrow? That's going to be the big thing that determines how many snaps Jayden gets. If Golden's out there, they'll probably see similar snaps because they're going to play similar roles. But yeah, for the most part, I think that's kind of what we're looking at. So it's going to be fun, man. You guys let me know if you're watching this video back later. Let me know in the comments, what do you think about Jayden Reed? How many snaps would you play him? Right? That's what I want to know. How many snaps would you play Jayden Reed? And how effective do you think he's going to be? Do you think he's going to skip any beat? You think he's going to be as effective as he was before? We want to hear from you guys in the comments. Make sure you hit like, subscribe, and click that bell icon so you're notified when we go live in the future. Jason Y in the chat, last one, says Wicks can have a huge game. I mean, we seen it last week, right? So, yeah, I think it's realistic to think that Wicks can go out there and do it again. I really do. So it's gonna be a blast, man. Maybe they lean on Wicks and get Jayden 10 to 15 snaps and maybe Matthew Golden 10 to 15 snaps, and they roll with Romeo, Dontavion Wicks, and Christian Watson. It's going to be a lot of fun, though, guys. It's almost game day. We'll be back tomorrow, roughly an hour and a half before kickoff. So make sure you click subscribe and hit the bell icon so you're notified when we go live for our PTA pregame show. And then immediately following the game, we'll be bringing you in-depth analysis. We'll be bringing you live press conferences. We'll go through the box score together. We'll talk about our favorite plays of the game, and we'll break everything down with this Packers-Bears matchup at Lambeau Field. So that's it, guys. Appreciate y'all hanging out with me. Let's go enjoy these conference championship games. Look like it's 0-0 in the first quarter between Georgia and Alabama. It's number 9 team and the number 3 team. Going to have some huge implications on the college football playoff. But thank y'all so much for taking time out of your day to hang out here. We really, really appreciate it. Make sure you hit like and subscribe. My name's Clayton. This is PTA. Go Pack, go.
Here we go.
We out.
We're out. Bye, guys.